But but yeah, he said that God was once a man, sinful man like you and me, and then he got real good. He got good, and then got to be God, and then he got his own planet, which is our planet, and then, like I said, the eternal intelligences floating out there in the universe, multiverse, spiritual realm, something or other. Just intelligences. Intelligence is eternal. So your intelligence, and they when you become a god, right? You go to the eternal goo factory that has all the intelligence. You take the eternal goo, you have spiritual sex with your spiritual wives, and somehow that intelligence becomes spiritual children. And then the spiritual, and yes, I'm being a little facetious, but this is a very facetious way to tell what they actually believe. Uh, then their spirit children, who they have in front of them in the heavenly realms. I'm not sure if this is terrestrial, telestial, whatever. They have a bunch of different realms. And then God makes a plan. I guess every God makes a plan because this is like an eternal cycle. God makes a plan and then tells his spirit children, his billions and billions and billions of spirit children, because he and his eternal wife, his spiritual wives, have been busy for eternal time, I guess, for a long time. Although this is all within space time, as it has to be. They tell him the plan. This is the way it worked out for them. They tell him the plan, and then the ones that reject the plan, they become demons. And then I guess there's like a war in heaven. And then the ones out of the rest of them, like a third of the ones who didn't fight hard enough against the demons' plans, well, they get cursed with being Negroes. It's all crazy. But the ones, of course, who were right up there on God's side, they got the purest white skin, and this is, of course, when they get born into human bodies. So the curse of not obeying God and thus becoming the slaves to the white good human beings, them's the Negroes who were cursed with that dark skin color. And I remember there's this one prophet, like in the 80s or 90s, I think, something like that. And you read his quote. I wish I could. I'm not going to dig it up, but it's hilarious. Um, so apparently there are these. It's like, in the late 70s, they changed their mind about not letting black folks be like, priests and ordinators or whatever they call it. People just, black people could be in the church. They just couldn't be any part of the actual function of the church. Kind of like the exact same way they treat trans people today, which is funny. I mean, I get it. That's fine. But it was black. It's because they were black. It's because they were cursed because they didn't fight hard enough against in the war in heaven against Lucifer, who is also ontologically identical to you and me and God. But man, there's so many squirrels in this. There are so many squirrels. It just goes all over the place. I'm just curious how they would say that with a sincere face to a black person. I can't even imagine. Well, now I think they just sort of try to ignore that they did that for most of their history until the 80s, 70s, sorry. With someone should clip this without context. Mike Esmolette is espousing the doctrine of the cult of the galactic goo. Which ones became the Cylons? Well, that's the AI that we're building now. Clip that.